the 10G power, PWR, to bring power to your studio cameras, but also to be able to use this unit, as I understand it, as I witnessed at NAB, and I hope that this is true, as an encoder or a decoder for your products around the installation. Now, let me give you a scenario as to what I saw and then where I would use this. I can give you a brief little tour as well of this product because I want you to see it. StudioBridge 10G power. This takes in studio cameras, okay? It replaces the Blackmagic Studio unit, which is the converter that provides power, video, audio, talkback, tally, all those things, and converts it to a Ethernet cord, which then you run to the camera and you plug the camera in via Ethernet port and it turns on and does all the things. This basically replaces that studio unit and you get 8 of them in one unit. This product has had a few price changes since its announcement, as you might, oh, this is cool, it shows me everything. Okay, so has a few price changes, but comes in under $3,000, which is the price of 2.5 studio converters. So thumbs up to that this unit can do this. And then it has QSFP ports, which they're actually calling 100 gigabit 2110 IP video ports. They're QSFP 28s, which is 100 gigs per port. So we can plug this into redundant switches and get 100 gigs redundantly, or we can plug this into the same switch and get a 200 gig backbone, which is the type of data we're talking about when we get to 2110 installations. You would really want to run this to a QSFP core. Those are not cheap. They're about $10,000 to start with Netgear. However, Blackmagic has announced their own 8-port QSFP 100 gig port switch, which we'll talk about briefly, and we have in previous shows. Also, this reminds me that I'm just going to move this over here because I want to keep an eye on the chat. So this guy will allow you to plug in 8 cameras. Now, we don't have 8 cameras. We're probably never going to have 8 studio cameras in our production because that's not the nature of our ministry. However, we might have 3. So what does that mean then for the other 5 ports on this thing? Well, what I saw at NAB was that you can also send 2110 signals out of these ports. And I don't know if this is true because it doesn't say it here on the screen. However, it does say that means you can plug in 8 separate 10G Ethernet Ultra HD devices and supply 90 watts of power on each of them. Okay, they make a 2110 converter from 2110 to HDMI, which you would then replace your Blackmagic SDI to HDMI for your monitors, for your iMag. You could replace those with 2110 to HDMI devices. And from our very, from our, how old am I? 41? I'm in my early 40s. From my perspective, there was very little latency from camera, which was a studio camera, mind you, to decoder. So it was very impressive.